Alright y'all, welcome back to another video. It's Prophet here, and today got a very special surprise for the Lego Nintendo fans, and if you couldn't tell by the shirt, had to rep Nintendo for it. And look, no matter how you feel about Nintendo, that's neither here nor there on this video. Alright, so we'll save that for later. I'll get into it maybe a little bit. I'll get into that later. But very special treat. All right, today we have the OG Lego Game Boy right here. All right, the OG Game Boy in Lego form, about 421 pieces. Don't mind the glare. Here, I'll show you the back as well. Comes with a replica of the original screen. Comes with a stand for the Game Boy. Comes with 2 games included as well. I believe that Zelda, Link's Awakening, and Super Mario Land that it comes with. And comes with a stand for one of them, and I think the other one is the one you're supposed to have in the Game Boy. But I'm very excited for this. If you guys have been keeping up so far in the channel, you would have seen my Majora's Mask video, link above. I've been doing a playthrough of that. So if you enjoy retro games, feel free to check that out. I'd love to have you watch it. I'd love to have you join the crew, Prophet's crew, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if that's going to stick, who knows. But, regardless, what a better way to continue the retro vibe, which is crazy to even say that some of this stuff is retro. Now, to be fair, and, I'll kind of cover this a little bit later as well, but the original Game Boy came out in 1989. I had the SP growing up, all right? So I'm not completely out of touch, I never had the original Game Boy, but the SP came out in 2002, and that was closer to my timeline. So sorry to y'all who were born in the 1900s, look, it's not my fault, all right? It's not my fault, but so we're still gonna call it retro, okay? I'm still gonna call it retro, but I'm doing that series, so what perfect way then to build this? So without further ado, I'm gonna unbox it live here. Well, it ain't gonna be live, but you guys know what I'm saying. I'm gonna unbox it, give you a few facts about it, and we'll just talk about whether or not it's actually worth it, and if I think you should spend your money on it. So if you're here, thank you for watching, and let's get right to it.
Alright guys, so at the very beginning of this unboxing and kind of building segment of the video, I kind of just looked through everything, kind of scanned through the pages, and at the very beginning you start to assemble the stand for some of the screens you can see that I'm showing here. The screens are actually so very cool because if you look at them, like as you move them from side to side, it's one of those screens that will change the image on it. So for the screens they give you, I believe they give you a Zelda screen, they give you a Super Mario Land screen, and then they give you the original Nintendo just background screen for the Game Boy. Like I think when it first loads up, like that's what you see. So really cool there. I will say that of course you can't actually play the Game Boy, like it's not like it doesn't actually move, like you can't actually play a game on it. It's really just for display purposes only. So just if you didn't know that, that's what the deal is. But it looks great for your collection. I mean, you still can hit all of the buttons. When I get to the D-pad, they actually did something really unique where inside of the D-pad, like there's this little rubber piece that you put in, so when you actually hit it, it feels like it's an actual D-pad. It's not just like, oh, you put that 4-corner Lego piece on there and it's just stiff. Like, no, you actually can click the different sides and actually feel like you're engaging with. And then same thing with the buttons as well. It's not like they're just hard as you press it. There's actually a little bit of give there for all the buttons, which is really cool, very intuitive as well. So if you're a fan of the Game Boy, you definitely would enjoy it there. It does have a $60 price tag, so I'll tell you that, which compared to a lot of other Lego kits is not too bad. I mean, a lot of the other bigger ones kind of are ranging $100 or more, easily, sometimes 200 or more for some of the bigger kits. But this one, like I said, was only like about 421 pieces or so. So I mean, not a huge kit. It didn't take me too long. I mean, as you'll see here, like I moved from location to location as I'm doing this because I built this over a span of just a couple days, like not too bad, but you get busy, so I had to kind of reset up in different locations. But I can tell you, like, I had a great time building this thing. The instructions are very clear, of course. Lego always does a pretty good job with their instructions, so it was easy to follow. Didn't have any issues there. And here, I'll actually just read a little bit of the book that they included because they actually included a really cool, like the instruction manual has some pretty cool pages that I will show here right now. Kind of just going over the different elements that they really wanted to make unique for the Game Boy. Like it just like I guess trying to include all the features. Like so there is a on-off switch that you can move from side to side, so you do feel like that kind of click there as you do that. I already mentioned the D-pad and the buttons, so that's all really cool. The games are a really dope addition that they added to it. So you actually can put the game inside of the Game Boy here. You can actually like slide it in and out, and it kind of just like gives you that vibe and kind of like the feel of actually playing it. And since it comes with those screens, if you want to like put the Super Mario Land one in there, there is a screen that goes along with Super Mario, and I'll put a picture up of like those different screens as well, or maybe include just a segment of me kind of sliding it back and forth to try to show you as it changes a little bit. But very cool stuff there. Um, as I mentioned, it was released in Japan in 1989. And at the time, I mean, the original Game Boy was a revolution in video games at the time. Now, of course, I mean, I feel like the biggest critique always that I've heard about the original was the fact that, of course, it took AA batteries, I believe, four. And, they wouldn't always last all the time. I mean, now, although I didn't have the original Game Boy, I can relate just with the aspect of having an Xbox controller back in the day, which is still crazy, by the way, that Xbox still, as a default, has it where you use batteries instead of just having it be rechargeable. Because I have so many memories of growing up and having to just sift through drawers upon drawers, stealing batteries from other devices to try to, like get my controller back on, especially like you're in the middle of an online match or something. Now you gotta like run around trying to find batteries so you can like get your controller going again, so you don't get your ass beat, like, so definitely have memories of that. So that was always the downside of the Game Boy, like battery life was and it didn't have a light on the screen. So like if you were trying to play it at night, like either you needed a flashlight or like you just needed something else because it didn't natively have any type of light to it. So that was a pretty big downside at the time, but still for what it was, very cool, very very cool. And then moving on to the next page here, like as you build it, it's like they do try to stay pretty um I guess pretty close to what the inside of a Game Boy would look like, like they try to keep it pretty faithful and accurate as you kind of build it from the inside out, which I thought was really cool. Like even the game cartridges, you kind of like, put in like the board that's inside of the cartridges and do all of that. So that is cool. I like the attention to detail there that they did. And then of course they kind of include like some blurbs about Super Mario Land, of course, and then Zelda as well, which they decided to include as well. And I believe Super Mario Land was included when the Game Boy first dropped as well. But as you can see here, getting very close to finishing it up. I believe I'm just building the last stand right now for the games and for the Game Boy itself, which, like I said, very fun to build, and very glad that I have this to my collection now.
All right, guys, that's pretty much all she wrote. So, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. For 60 bucks, I would. I would. It was fun to build. I had a great time. It looks great in the collection. I mean, even if you're not a hardcore Nintendo fan, whatever you want to say, if you just enjoy Legos, you think it looks cool, I would say yeah, I would say go for it. Like you won't be disappointed. I'll say that. I know I wasn't. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely like and subscribe. It always helps out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.